Hi, Sean with the Ag Center, giving you a weekly update on commodity prices here in California. Dairy prices have settled in about $18.08 so far for April, an $18 average out through August of this year, which is in the black for most operators. Butter volumes are still remain high year over year as a lot of cream volumes coming in from high components on cattle, especially out here in the West as we're kind of recovering, kind of coming back to flow after the bird flu issues we've had. Heifers still staying high at the 39.50 to 39.75 range. Still a hole in the heifer herd. It really hasn't flowed through and caused a decrease in overall average production in the United States as far as what we're seeing in flow and the total number of cows and milk, but I think it's coming. We're about 2.5 million head short. It's the lowest inventory of heifers over 500 pounds that we've had since 1978, and what I see in the numbers I see is just herd just getting older and older, so guys are really retaining animals, keeping them the 4th, 5th, 6th lactations. You can only do that for so long before those cattle kind of come in and have to get culled out and be replaced with no replacements available. I think people are seeing that. That's pushing that price up higher. Beef on dairy cross calves still at the 960 range and 550 for Holstein bull calves, with culls at about 157 per pound. Beef prices still remain high on the cross animals at the 450 weight side at 449 per pound, despite the fact we got tariffs in place. I think the tariffs are really not affecting U.S. beef because they've kind of gone to the Australian side with China, and then those beef imports that were coming to the United States have kind of diminished because of the tariffs, and the domestic supply is kind of meeting that need, and people are just continuing to buy. So I think the U.S. beef price looks like it's going to hold up and stay pretty steady for the time being, especially since we only have about 58% of the country outside of the drought considerations. Best has been in 3 years, but it's still dry out there, and you got expensive calves, so a lot of the emphasis is to sell heifers as you get them versus hold them for replacements later on. So replacements have not been coming on in the U.S. beef herd. Almond prices staying high at 283 for nonpareils, 277 for independents, 256 for cows, and about 287 for in-shell. Prices continue to inch up on the almond side, despite the fact there's been some tariffs in place put in China, which is a major import market. A lot of those almonds now, though, are shifting over and moving into India, and really going through Vietnam, which is up about 37% this year. I think a lot of countries in the Asian region have figured out that, hey, we can buy the nuts, repackage them, sell them into China without as many tariffs as non-U.S. goods. And I think you're going to kind of see that workaround continue to play out and the prices stay high. A lot of folks are calling for $3 almonds pretty soon if that continues out. Tomatoes settling about the $110 per ton range. Acres are down about 10% this year at 200,000 planted acres. Average production is going to be about 51 tons per acre this year. All of that speaks to kind of getting to a rebalance on the supply-demand side, where prices should recover next year, or at least be able to stay consistent and not have this fall off we had back in the early 2000s. 20% tariff is also coming in on Mexican tomatoes coming across the border beginning July 14th, and that'll also kind of make U.S. produced tomatoes in the domestic market that much more viable. That's what I got this week for commodities. Thanks.